Hello there and a very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Dasmi Athaga.
I'm Zama Ratnayaka. Here's a look at your headlines.
Prime Minister issued summons to appear before Presidential Commission of Inquiry. National Elections Commission to receive power to call for a presidential election from tomorrow. 17 parties in form of interest to contest the election. Duminda Nagamuwa nominated as Frontline Socialist Party presidential candidate. Ajit P. Pereira submits a written reply to letter of disciplinary inquiry. Sajid Premadasa in Jaffna says will create social, political and economic empowerment through maximum devolution within a united Sri Lanka.
In one of your headline-making stories, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was summoned to appear before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing fraud and corruption over the past 4 years later this week.
A statement from the Presidential Commission noted the Prime Minister was issued summons to appear before the Commission at 9:30 a.m. on the 12th of September. The summons was sent to the Prime Minister's office at Temple Trees via fax, and the letter is to be hand-delivered tomorrow. The Prime Minister was issued summons to provide evidence to the Commission with regard to a cabinet paper produced on the 21st of September 2015 to take over the Agriculture Ministry building for the Sectoral Oversight Committee and moving the Agriculture Ministry to a building in Rajagiriya.
Meanwhile, the National Elections Commission says it would receive the power to call for a presidential election from tomorrow.
National Elections Commission Chief Mahinda Deshapriya said the 2018 voter registry will be considered for the upcoming presidential election. He said 200,000 more voters would be added to the list prepared for the recent local government elections. The NEC had received information about 17 candidates who would be contesting from political parties and another candidate who would be contesting independently.
The National Elections Commission can hold the presidential elections only after the 9th of November and before the 9th of December. Accordingly, we can hold the elections within 63 days after calling out the nominations, which means the National Elections Commission will have the right to call out the nominations from tomorrow, the 10th of September. But technically, you cannot call out the nominations tomorrow. Between the 16th of September and the 15th of October, the National Elections Commission will call for nominations for the presidential elections.
Duminda Nagamuwa was nominated as the presidential candidate of the Frontline Socialist Party. The nomination was announced during a FSP rally at New Town Hall, Colombo by FSP General Secretary Kumar Gunaratnam.
UNP seniors claim a decisive meeting will take place tomorrow between party leader Ranil Wickremesinghe and deputy leader Sajid Premadasa on the United National Party's candidate for the presidential election.
Tomorrow, Sajid Premadasa and the Prime Minister will meet. I believe they would reach a final decision on this. They are like father and son. They have a good relationship between them and a good idea of their duties. The candidate will not be selected, but they will come to some sort of consensus.
When elephants take a step forward, they don't take a step back. We will move forward. The elephants go forward together. We don't have single elephant games. Do not fear. Everyone is in this game together. You will understand it soon.
The
working committee will decide on the candidate. There are 68 members in it, out of which 48 are MPs. So there is always scope for the party leader to become the candidate for the presidency. If not very clearly, the deputy leader must come forward. The deputy leader is popular and it is a great strength to us. It is of paramount importance for both number 1 and number 2 to work together. Some want number 2 to replace number 1. Number 1 has no journey without number 2, and it's the same the other way around. I will not mention any names.
Ranil Wickremesinghe cannot contest alone and win. As a party, our working committee and our MPs must discuss and reach a decision. I think this matter will most probably be solved within this week.
Non-Cabinet Minister Ajit P. Pereira today handed over written submission as response to a letter sent by UNP General Secretary citing he had violated the party constitution.
In August, UNP General Secretary Akhila Viraj Karyavasam sent letters to non-cabinet ministers Sujiva Senasinghe and Ajit Pereira with specific dates instructing them to provide explanation for breaching the constitution of the United National Party. As both failed to appear for the aforementioned matter, the UNP General Secretary instructed them to submit their explanations in writing before the 9th of September, which is today. Thereby, non-cabinet minister Ajit P. Pereira this morning handed over this written response to the party headquarters. His submission notes he did not receive a letter or CD as mentioned by the General Secretary of the party to the media. Ajit P. Pereira, who stressed his response was based on the facts reported in the media, said he never violated the party constitution and does not accept the allegations made by the party secretary.
From among those who wish to be the presidential election candidate, Sajith Premadasa is the most favoured among the people. Supporting Sajith Premadasa is not a reason to conduct a disciplinary inquiry. The party constitution does not contain any such provision. There is no provision which prohibits speaking about the people and the supporters at the working committee. The local government members from across the country officially decided Sajith Premadasa must be named as the candidate. There are 123 provincial councillors and 97 of them convened and decided Sajith Premadasa must be named as the candidate. There are 77 members in the parliamentary group and over 50 members signed and showed their consent to name Sajith Premadasa as the candidate. Therefore, in such a situation, it is quite puzzling as to why disciplinary inquiry is called for against me and Sujiva. I do not fear. I cannot be threatened with weapons or letters. I only fear for the people's mandate. Nevertheless, Sajith Premadasa is preparing for the presidential election. I can state responsibly, he would come forward as the candidate of the United National Party and the Alliance. We will form alliances with all those who possess the policies we can agree upon.
Meanwhile, on a similar note, non-cabinet minister Sujiva Senasinghe also responded to the party General Secretary's letter on the disciplinary inquiry.
We do not take these matters seriously. These are mere attempts to frighten us and we cannot be intimidated. Ashik Priyantha and Aluth Gamage defected, but no disciplinary inquiry took place against them. There is Venerable Ratanathera and Vijay Dasu Rajapaksa who worked against the party, while I work for the party. When there was a motion of no confidence against the Prime Minister, we worked against the Rajapaksa junta and to defeat the motion. I have never seen a thing like this. I got to know about this through the media and a letter was faxed to me. Such things cannot bring down Sujiva Senasinghe. I will not end my struggle even if I am expelled from the party or anything else. I do not need a party. I am here to engage in politics and not to beg. We will not form another party. Champika Ranavaka, Digambaran, Mano Ganeshan, Rauf Hakim, Badiruddin and even a number of SLPP MPs and a number from the SLFP have called for Sajith Premadasa to be named as the candidate. If the party names him, we will work for him. He has to be named by the working committee and the parliamentary group. What we want is democracy. When it comes to it, we will take Sajith Premadasa towards victory.
UNP Deputy Leader and Minister Sajith Premadasa graced the opening ceremony of Day 3 of Enterprise Sri Lanka taking place at the Jaffna Fort. Following the event, the minister attended a media briefing.
It would be solved with time. The UNP is a democratic party and it is not owned by a single person, a family or a group of relatives. Therefore, the matter may seem like an issue to those unfamiliar with democracy. I do not know of such a thing. The issue here isn't about leadership or even the premiership. The issue here is about presidency. That issue will be solved. That is not true. At the previous election, it was not the UNP leader who contested. It was Maithripala Sirisena. This too is an alliance and it is the United National Front.
Journalists questioned the minister on his plans to solve the issues in the north and east.
I must make it clear that I do not have the quality of changing my views and opinions while overseas and in Sri Lanka. In a united Sri Lanka, maximum power devolution will take place, and through that program, political, social and economic empowerment will take place. The provisions, blessings and support due to the provincial councils created via the 13th Amendment of the Constitution will be given, and we hope to provide a better service to the people through an efficient provincial council.
අපි කාර්යක්ෂම ජනතා සේවාවක් ඉෂ්ට කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. දෙමළ ජනතාවට කිසිම අසරණ ලබා තිබුණත් ප්‍රකාශ කරත් මදි. සිංහල ජනතාවට කියලා කියන්නට ඕනේ මම මේ කිසිම තමයි ලබා දෙන්නේ දෙමළ ජනතාවට. මම ඔබතුමාලට එකක් කියන්න. මේ රටේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳීම සඳහා මේ රටේ ජීවත් වෙන
One must win the trust of all communities in the country in order to solve the country's issues. Many have used this as a political football and keep passing it to one another. Such a process will not solve the issues of the country. I can fulfill that responsibility by winning the trust of all communities where peace, prosperity, unity, friendship, brotherhood and reconciliation will be implemented across all areas.
ඒ සියල්ලක්ම ක්‍රියාත්මක වන ආකාරයට හැම ජන කොට්ටාසයකගේම විශ්වාසය දිනාගෙන ඒ යුතුයකම ඉෂ්ට කරන්න මට පුළුවන්.
The 274th model village constructed under the Samata 7 Yali Pibidena Udagamana program was declared open in Urelu in Valikamam North. This model village, which is named as Pokkane Gramam, consists of 19 houses and was constructed at a cost of 17.3 million rupees. This model village is facilitated with clean drinking water, electricity, access roads and with properly constructed roads within the village. The minister engaged in a game of cricket with the youth in the area.
Ministers Lakshman Kiriyalla and Kabir Hashim were questioned by reporters over a purported tussle between the two, and here are their responses.
Minister Kabir Hashim is a good friend. We have no issue. We are from a democratic party and views are exchanged within the party. There is no animosity. He remains a good friend, and like I said, the party is democratic.
Sometimes when you believe in a policy and when you work in a manner to protect it, you might be subject to attacks. But it does not affect me nor hurt me. When you represent the right thing, you may even lose all of your titles, but I will not let go of my beliefs. I have no issue with Minister Kiriyalla.
The symbol to be used to contest the upcoming polls has become an issue to form the SLFP-SLPP alliance after SLFP Dayasiri Jayasekara said the flower bud cannot be the symbol of the alliance. The following are SLPP responses and comments on the matter.
The flower bud is engraved with the minds of the people as the symbol of our party. They are speaking about the flower bud party. It is the identity of the party. So at a decisive election like this one, is it justifiable or a smart move to reject such a symbol which gives us so much of strength? How will this affect the final motive, which is victory at the elections? Would it affect us positively or negatively?
විශිෂ්ට ජයග්‍රහණයක් ලබා ගැනීමේ අරමුණට ඒකෙන් වෙන්නේ හොඳක්ද නරකක්ද? පොහොට්ටුව ලකුණ දරන ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොදු ජන පෙරමුණ.
The Sri Lanka Podu Jana Perumuna, which has the symbol of the flower bud, has fielded Gotabaya Rajapaksa as their presidential candidate. The other parties now have to decide whether they will support this candidate or not. Apart from that, they do not have a right to ask us to change our symbol, our clothes or even our face. If the Sri Lanka Freedom Party keeps focusing on finding solutions to issues that cannot be solved, they will end up in the dustbin of history.
ඔවුන් ඉතිහාසයේ කුණුබක්කියට ඇද වැටීම කාටවත්ම නතර කරන්න බෑ.
හැබැයි යන්නේකේදී ගෞරවයක් තියෙන්න ඕන දෙපැත්තටම.
Both parties must be given the honour. We have given the market to the Podu Jana Peramuna. The vendor of the market is from the Podu Jana Peramuna. The manager is also from the Podu Jana Peramuna. So the Sri Lanka Freedom Party will be going to this market as customers to purchase goods. But when we go to the market, we ask for discounts. We won't buy the goods at the price the vendor tells us, and the vendor does not sell the goods at the price we ask as well. The vendor can keep their goods if they want, and we can purchase goods from another market as well.
බඩු දෙන්නේ මුදලාලට කැමති නම් බඩු තියාගන්නත් පුළුවන් අපිට පුළුවන් වෙන කඩේකින් බඩු ගන්නත් පුළුවන්.
National T20 cricket captain Lasith Malinga made the following comments to questions posed on the present political situation.
I do not know about politics. I know about cricket. So if you have any questions on cricket, I can answer them. It's his personal preference. I did not know about Viat Maga until you told me about it. If Murali went there, it's his personal decision. I am just a popular cricketer, so I will do what I can in cricket. Popularity is not a qualification for governance. Popularity is the preference of the people, but governance is different. There is a difference between that and administration. I have identified the difference.
President Maithripala Sirisena today presented appointment letters to 539 teachers in the North Central province.
The presentation ceremony took place at the Kakirava Central College. 428 teachers in the Sinhala medium, 100 teachers in the Tamil medium and 11 teachers in the English medium received their letters of appointment. During the presentation ceremony, a group of graduates staged a silent protest, noting they too possess the required qualifications and they too need to be given appointments.
At a time when you are given appointments, a large number who possesses the required qualifications are disappointed because they would not be receiving appointments. Week after week, when I am at my residence in Polonnaruwa, it is surrounded. I always tell them the appointments would be given. Do I need to be here to give you the appointments? You might assume it is not necessary. Your conscience might question, why should a president give you appointment letters? Would it not be easier to send it by post? However, we view that the presentation of appointment letters should be done in a grand way because you are entering the teaching profession. As president, I come here to respect you as intellectuals.
Following the ceremony, the president inquired into the issue faced by the group engaged in the silent protest. Based on an understanding that the matter would be resolved, the group dispersed.
500 projects completed under the Nearest School is the Best School program were added to the national education system today, and it had cost the government 10,000 million rupees.
The Shishyodaya National Institute of Special and Inclusive Education in Venivalkola, Kahatuduwa, constructed for children with special needs, was declared open this morning by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Minister Akila Viraj Karyavasam also attended the event, while a sum of 360 million rupees was spent on the event.
An issue which was raised continuously was regarding the weakening structure of schools which used coconut leaves and steel sheets as roofing. There were requests for solutions. I discussed the matter with Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. He advised on how to solve the matter. The project alone cost 64,000 million rupees. We were able to create a school building system at very high standards to around 1,500 to 2,000 schools in the country. Under our government, with Ranil Wickremesinghe as the Prime Minister, irrespective of party differences, we were able to launch a massive development for education. I was born through free education. I entered Sri Lankan University at a time when not many got the opportunity to go to school. I had an opportunity to work on this when I became the Minister of Education. I would like to say proudly, in independent Sri Lanka, this government had spent the most on education and healthcare. There was a time when we had 500 buildings to declare open. I asked the minister how many buildings we had left to open. I told him that the parliamentary period ends next year and the tenure of the president ends this year. I said even if we opened buildings 24 hours a day, we could not complete all of this. I asked him to somehow find a way, and that is how we are doing these 500 projects. Is there another 500? There is another 500. This is how we are working. Many projects under the Nearest School is the Best School program were declared open across the island today.
These are the children of Gambiriswawa and Helamagaswawa in Anuradhapura who were crying out in desperation at the time where the Nearest School is the Best School program was underway. Shouldn't authorities pay attention to these voices as well? This morning, students of the Helamagaswawa Vidyalaya along with their parents waited opposite the North Central Provincial Council building anticipating a solution to their issues. 5 years ago, this school had around 200 students and had the facilities for 14 subjects. However, at present, the facilities can only cater to 2 subjects. As a result, there are less than 60 students attending school here. There are only 4 teachers at the school.
We haven't seen a mathematics teacher for 5 years. We need the required number of teachers and measures must be taken to develop the school.
There is no point in the school being open. The children just play anyway. This is a grave injustice. We teach these kids by working for a daily wage of 1,000 rupees. That is the extent to which we suffer. Even after 2 hours of protests, the authorities failed to provide a solution to the issue. This led to the chief incumbent of the Helamagaswawa temple, Venerable Ibbagamwe Dharma Jyoti Thera, to launch a Satyagraha campaign. I will continue this Satyagraha today, even if nobody does it. I will. Staying here means none of these people will leave either. Now Ranil Wickremesinghe is facing an election phobia. We know Ranil Wickremesinghe is afraid of elections. Now they are trying to temporarily fool the people. This project on 500 schools is also the same. You cannot temporarily fool the people with these tricks again. So please fulfill the promises you made.
විශේෂ පුවතක් වෙතයි දැන් අවධානය. ශ්‍රී ලංකා රූපවාහිනී සංස්ථාව ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශයේ යටතට පවරා ගනිමින් අති විශේෂ ගැසට් නිවේදනයක් නිකුත් කිරීමට තීරණය කර තිබෙනවා. රජයේ මුද්‍රණාලාධිපති ගංගා කල්පනී ලියනගේ මහත්මිය ප්‍රකාශ කළේ ජනාධිපතිවරයාගේ අත්සනින් යුතු අදාළ ගැසට් නිවේදනය මේ වන විට රජයේ මුද්‍රණාලයට ලැබී ඇති බවයි. ඒ අනුව අද මධ්‍යම රාත්‍රියට පෙර අදාළ ගැසට් නිවේදනය නිකුත් කිරීමට පියවර ගන්නා බව ඇය වැඩිදුරටත් සඳහන් කළා. ගිරි
நன்றி கோஷிலா. தற்போது கிடைத்த விசேட செய்தி ஒன்று. இலங்கை ரூபவாகினி கூட்டுத்தாபனத்தை பாதுகாப்பு அமைச்சின் கீழ் கொண்டு வருவதற்கான விசேட வர்த்தமானியை வெளியிடுவதற்கு நடவடிக்கை எடுக்கப்பட்டுள்ளது. ஜனாதிபதி கையொப்பமிட்டு அதற்கான வர்த்தமானி அறிவித்தல் அரசு அச்சகத்திற்கு கிடைத்துள்ளதாக அரசு அச்சகர் கங்கா கல்பனி லியனகே தெரிவித்தார். இதற்கமைய இன்று நள்ளிரவிற்கு முன்னர் இந்த வர்த்தமானி அறிவித்தலை வெளியிடுவதற்கு நடவடிக்கை எடுப்பதாகவும் அவர் குறிப்பிட்டார். தசுனி.
Thank you, Giri. Breaking news. An extraordinary gazette is to be issued tonight, moving the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation under the purview of the Ministry of Defence. Government printer Ganga Kalpani Liyanage, speaking to Newsfirst, said the government printer had received the respective gazette with the signature of the President. She said the gazette will be issued before midnight tonight. Welcome back to your news. Still in local news, speaking in Kurunegala, former Auditor General Gamini Vijay Singha spoke of the current state of the education sector.
Why has the education sector collapsed? The expense is huge, but all this cost is borne to merely construct buildings, but no money is spent on teacher training, IT development, or even to develop the child's mindset. They can't afford to do it. This is because they spend 90% of the money to make buildings. The construction of buildings should be done on the basis of necessity without wasting resources. The money they use is money we get as loans.
The draft sign language bill for people with special needs had been ignored for over a decade. This was revealed when representatives from the community with special needs appeared before the Committee on Public Accounts.
An initiative was taken 12 years ago to prepare a bill on sign language for the benefit of over 2 million Sri Lankans who are with special needs. Despite more than a decade passing by, this bill is yet to be presented in Parliament. The Committee on Public Accounts condemned this shortcoming, which was the direct result of lack of coordination between officials and gross negligence. A request was made to update the education syllabus, books, technology and teacher training for children with special needs. COPA recommended sign language should be standardized and measures need to be taken to give priority to 45 visually impaired graduates when awarding employment opportunity. What's even more surprising is Sri Lanka has only 6 accepted language translators to facilitate matters relating to people with special needs.
Still local news.
According to a stock exchange disclosure, Ravi Vijayaratne has agreed to purchase control of Colombo Stock Exchange listed MTD Walkers or KAPI.
According to a statement from MTD Walkers PLC, Ravindranath Vijayaratne has agreed to purchase from MTD Capital BHD the majority shareholding of the company of 152,183,583 shares held by them, constituting of 90.78% of issued shares of the company. KAPI was plagued by financial turmoil, reporting losses in excess of 6 billion rupees in total for the financial years ending on March 2018 and 2019. They have defaulted on payments of listed debentures, have been embroiled in litigation with many of Sri Lanka's banks, and had their shares suspended from trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange. According to the last published financials on March 31st, 2019, the company has a net asset value of 1.35 billion rupees and total liabilities of close to 40 billion rupees. The stock exchange filing indicates an agreement by Ravi Vijayaratne to take majority control of the company. However, thus far there is no announcement to indicate that the substantial borrowings from the banks would be met. In 2018, Allegations were levelled at Jehan Amaratunga for obtaining facilities totalling to 10 billion rupees for this company as the executive deputy chairman. The loan was obtained from the People's Bank while Amaratunga was serving as a director at the same bank. Very specifically, in the light of the government's attempts to recapitalise People's Bank through an amendment to the Act, there is a genuine concern that a state bank will once again end up with irrecoverable debt. Is this yet another attempt designed for the state to bear the loss in terms of loans granted in a preferential manner?
Sri Lanka is to raise $500 million by issuing Japanese samurai bonds via investment banks.
The central bank, on behalf of the government, has invited proposals from banks and investment houses for consideration to be appointed as joint lead arrangers for the proposed samurai bond issuance. Central Bank's RFP notice revealed that government intends to issue a bond up to $500 million in a benchmark-size single tranche with a fixed coupon of 10-year maturity as its first samurai bond issuance. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal to appoint lead managers to launch Sri Lanka's first ever yen-denominated samurai bond issuance worth $500 million in Japan. In this perspective, yen-denominated bonds for benchmark-size issuances will be exercisable in single or multiple tranches with competitive fixed coupons and in medium to long-term maturities. According to the central bank, Japan Bank for International Cooperation has offered a 95% credit guarantee for this bond.
The 42nd regular session of the United Nations Human Rights Council began today and will last till the 27th of September this year in Geneva, Switzerland.
The session was opened by Colly Sek, President of the Human Rights Council, and presided over Michelle Bachelet, the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. Annual report of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights and reports of the Office of the High Commissioner and the Secretary General were presented. The first day saw the discussions of the independent investigative mechanism for Myanmar, the implementation of the recommendations contained in the report of Independence International Commission of Inquiry on the protests in the occupied Palestinian territory and the situation of human rights in the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. A spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ruanti Delpitier, speaking to Newsfirst, said representatives from Sri Lanka's permanent mission to the United Nations will attend today's session.
An extraordinary Gazette notification announced D.B. Herath was declared as a Member of Parliament to fill the seat left vacant following the demise of UPFA Kurunegala District MP Salinda Disanayaka.
The Kurunegala District Returning Officer handed over his recommendation to the National Elections Commission based on the UPFA preferential votes list for the district, and the recommendation was approved today by the National Elections Commission. The NEC would forward the name to the General Secretary of Parliament.
Sri Lanka Cricket today held a meeting with players of the Sri Lanka cricket squad,
who were chosen as part of a preliminary squad to select the team which will be touring Pakistan. This evening, Sri Lanka Cricket said 10 players chose to stay away from the upcoming Pakistan series.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight, rather. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Dasniya Thakur.
And I'm Jamal Ratnayaka. Take care and good night.